The battle lines have been drawn in Parliament and they're no longer just about the BJP versus the Congress. George Soros and Gautam Adani are now firmly at the epicenter of the great Indian political debate. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. Many peculiar things, including the battle of the t-shirts, are now unfolding in Parliament, where Rahul Gandhi is releasing t-shirts saying Modi Adani ek hai. The BJP is now targeting the Gandhi, saying George Soros and Rahul Gandhi ek hai. Now, Gautam Adani, of course, has been long the weapon that Mr. Gandhi has been using to fire targets at the BJP. But the BJP is hitting back using the George Soros weapon. It has now linked Sonia Gandhi to a foundation that it says has been funded by the American philanthropist and said that that foundation supported secession by Jammu and Kashmir. The Congress has denied the charges, just as Gautam Adani has denied the charges made by US prosecutors that last month indicted him on allegations of bribery. The larger political point is this. Is the Congress gaining anything by making Adani the centerpiece of its attack on the BJP? Remember, Parliament has barely functioned as the Congress gets caught up in this Adani fixation, even as its state leaders, including leaders like Revanth Reddy and in the past Ashok Gehlot, have done business with Gautam Adani. Ironically, in the Telangana Assembly today, you had the opposition in that state, KTR and his BRS colleagues, arrested when they accused Revanth Reddy, I beg your pardon, Revanth Reddy, of being hand in glove and too close to Gautam Adani. What's going on here? We have two very interesting guests facing off on this Adani versus Congress, Adani versus Soros. It's making no sense to me. What does it actually have to do with politics when the BJP and the Congress must know better? Mohandas, educationist, leading businessman, is with us, and also Tehseen Poonawalla is with us, a diehard supporter of the Congress party, or at least of the Gandhi family. Can he defend Rahul Gandhi's latest avatar as a reporter? You heard me right. We'll play out that clip for you in just a moment. But first comments. Mohan, what is going on here? Why do Gautam Adani and George Soros have to be at the center of our domestic political debate? It's actually pretty bizarre, because things that really matter to people, things that really impact the everyday lives of people, bread butter issues, education, bijli, sadak, pani, this is not getting discussed. We are now having esoteric discussions on Gautam Adani and George Soros.
Well, Barkha, I feel very sad that the Indian National Congress has lost its mojo. I think they should talk to you how to regain their mojo. The youth of this country and a large part of the educated middle class and others are forsaking them because they find that any issue that they raise doesn't gel with them. Now look at the Adani issue. Why is the Congress trying to go after Adani? Because they think by attacking Adani, they get to Prime Minister Modi. Because the Congress has historically been extremely corrupt. You saw UPA 2 go down because of high corruption. Even in my state of Karnataka, corruption has increased since the new government has come. And we know that they put their hand in the till everywhere. The details, I think all of us know. We don't want to talk about it for various reasons. Now they want to attack Modi through Adani. But what is the evidence? Look, what I would tell the Congress is, this is not gelling with the Indian public. If you have any evidence against Adani, go to the court. Go to the court, file a complaint and show evidence. For example, this new case in the United States, it doesn't make sense because they say $265 million of so-called bribe for a $2 billion of profit over 25 years. The net present value of the $2 billion is possibly around 250, 260 million. Doesn't make any sense. And they're not shown any money trail. They're not shown where the money has come, where the money has gone, where the money, who is the bribe taker. It is just something that has been put up for whatever reason. And most people are saying that there's no evidence. But you know, that he has to fight. I mean, I'm sure that Adani will fight that. Earlier, to please remember, we saw George Soros come in a press conference and say that he has kept a $500 million or $1 billion to take on Modi in India. That he said, I got evidence against Adani after Hindenburg, and Modi will have to answer about Hindenburg in the Indian parliament. Now, who the hell is George Soros to interfere in Indian politics? We must have some principles in our politics. One, our political leaders should not associate with any foreign power against India. We should not associate. Indira Gandhi would never associate. We all respect Indira Gandhi for standing up to the US president at the time of 1971. She will never have anybody outside come in and interfere in politics. She will never accept it. She was a very, very tough prime minister. We may disagree with her. Second, our political leaders should not associate with any NGO in India or overseas funded by foreign capital. Third, you must never allow foreign capital to come inside and associate with the politics through an NGO for doing, advocacy, for doing anything. Because we know in India who are the people associated with open society. We know what Soros wants to achieve. He wants regime change in many countries. He identified 4 prime ministers who he wants to remove. One was in Brazil, and one was in Turkey, one was in Japan, and one is Modi. Now, who is he to interfere in the politics and say, I'm going to use the money? And anybody in India, politicians or civil society associating with him, is suspect. We've seen many of these people sell their own souls for money. You know the names who have taken money from open society and through all their affiliates. He's spending enormous amount of money, maybe 300, 400, 500 million dollars a year.
But do you think it was grown up of the BJP to make noise about the Americans being hand in glove with Soros to launch an anti-Modi sort of campaign? The US Embassy actually issued a statement, quite unusual for them, to say how disappointed they were by this response. It didn't really reflect, great maturity. There's some things you just look the other way from. India's a big power. Modi's a big leader. Everything doesn't have to be reacted to, Mohan. I'm sure you agree.
No, Barkha, the fact remains, George Soros is hand in bed with the Democratic Party. He funded the Black Lives Matter. He funded the riots. They hired people to canvass for people to ride there. He's funded a lot of NGOs. He's funded about 30, 40 district attorneys to be hired in America. He's funded a lot of election. We know what his son has done. He's taken a very clear stand. He's taken a very clear stand because he wants to bring in an open society around the world where there are no borders. People can go where they want. He's the idea of government. He brought in the color revolution in Eastern Europe, right? He has got very political views and is putting a lot of money on the line. It's money power which is buying people. And I don't think we should accept that interference in our politics. First, all of us are nationalists and patriots. We must not allow foreign power to interfere, whatever be our difference. Now, the BJP and Congress may have differences. All of us may have differences, but no foreign power. We don't want our political leaders, either in Congress or in the BJP, to be associated with foreign capital or foreign people. We don't want any Indian to take money from foreign NGOs and to interfere in our politics like some people are doing. We don't want Trudeau to interfere in our politics. We don't want anybody else to interfere in politics. That should be a red line. All of us should stand and put, and anybody putting it should be condemned by us, and they should stop.
I think that's something in principle that all three of us would agree on. Yes. But Tehseen, it was Indira Gandhi who coined the phrase "the foreign hand." Right? Yeah. You would that's something worth remembering today. Today, the BJP is using the foreign hand allegation against the Congress, against the Gandhi family, linking Sonia Gandhi to a foundation that they say was funded by Soros and had dubious politics on Jammu and Kashmir, separatist, secessionist politics on Jammu and Kashmir. Your response, lots of interesting clips to play out for both of you from Parliament. But first, just your response on this Adani Soros proxy war that is going on in Parliament.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Barkha, and good evening, namaskar to Mohan Pai ji. Two very important things. Yes, the BJP may have surely got the mojo story right by trying and getting against the Congress on the industrialist issue, but where the buck stops, where the buck should stop at the Prime Minister. So if a 90-year-old man I
love all the references to my shows and my platform, but do carry on.
I'm not going to let Mohan Bhai get all the.
You have to end with the people. You have to end with what we the people want.
I am coming to be the people. Exactly. So he's not going to get away with it. But so the BJP, if a 90-year-old man is interfering in India's elections and India's democracy, and I completely concur with Mohan Bhai. Whose responsibility is it to stop it? The man who we all think is the most powerful leader in the last 11 years across the globe and practically in the last 40 years across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi should put his foot down and stop it. He can't have a reaction to an industrialist being threatened by saying, oh, suddenly now we've woken up and we have this evidence against Mrs. Gandhi. It was the BJP and the BJP president, national president, when convicted of accepting foreign funding into the political party, retrospectively amended the FCRA laws, which allows foreign countries and foreign companies to invest in Indian political parties. Retrospectively, Barkha, the BJP did it in a majority with Prime Minister Modi. It is the BJP that got in cash into Parliament when the late Gopinath Mundeji was alive to stall the nuclear deal, the 123 agreement, which was a feather in India's cap. This is the BJP. So the BJP has
So what
no
do you
right
want the
to talk
BJP
about.
to do? What do you want the BJP to do
I
when
think
it
that the
cracks
BJP,
down? When it cracks down on the FCRA issues, when it cracks down on NGOs, people like you, people like me criticize the BJP. When they don't, then you say, why isn't the BJP stopping? Let's start with
there are
first principles. Do you believe George Soros? Do you believe George Soros is really interfering in Indian democracy? Is Indian democracy so weak and fragile that Mr. Soros can alter its direction?
I'm not a fan of George Soros. I'm not a fan of the left loonies. I'm not a fan of the Porsche poor. I'm not a fan of the Maserati Marxists. But
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Soros, the 90-year-old irrelevant man, cannot weaken my country's democracy. I think my country is governed by sensible people, including the Prime Minister, including the opposition, including various institutions that don't allow for his governance. If there is weakness in institutions, as opposition as government, it is the duty to sit and rectify them. Everyone will try and take advantage of every country. How we deal with it is upon our hand. I think what's
Yeah.
happening, Barkha, and I agree with you. There are several important issues for us to deal in. And if I was in opposition, if I was leader of opposition, I would be raising the serious issue of tax terrorism and 35% GST that is being planned or imagined, even if it's by the opposition states, that will kill Indian entrepreneurship. It will kill Indian entrepreneurship. I would first raise that issue. I would raise the issue of unemployment. I would raise the issue of spiraling price rise, onion price rises, etc. That is affecting the middle class and savings. But what's happening is the Congress is stuck up on Adani, the BJP is stuck up on Soros, and we, the people, are suffering in between. The issues
I agree.
The issues of our people, of us, is not me. And this is for the first time. Both, and I'm saying this being a Congress supporter, and I think Mr. Pai being a BJP supporter agree with me. Both the BJP and the Congress are getting an easy way out of parliamentary discussion with this nonsense. Can I just give you one example, slightly off the topic, but it'll tell you. Day before yesterday, Friday, money was found in Parliament. पता है कितना पैसा था? 50,000 रुपए का एक bundle. For that, the BJP and Congress wasted an entire session of Parliament, which would have cost lakhs of crores to run, for 50,000 rupees ka bundle. It may or may not have been the said gentleman's. It may have been a security lapse. And sure, can you waste Parliament for a 50,000 ka bundle? Now, I may sound elitist, but honestly, the ridiculousness of wasting a Parliament day over 50,000 rupees is appalling to me.
I think I do agree with you that both Soros and Adani, frankly, for the average Indian, are non-issues. That is how I would say it, that they are looking to Parliament for something more meaningful to be discussed. Mohan, quick response to this, because then I want to play out Rahul Gandhi in his avatar as a reporter. But please do respond to what Tehseen has said.
Barkha, I totally agree with you. Tax terrorism is a major challenge for all of us. In the 2014, disputes under tax were 4,35,000 crores. They're gone to 12,30,000 crores in 2024. Jaitley promised us it will be ended. It was part of the manifesto. They've done much, but it's not ended. It's going on because the finance minister is unable to take any steps, and we are all suffering. The biggest threat to our economy is tax terrorism, where tax officers can do what they want. They can just go on adding things. It takes 15, 20 years. We have broken down justice system. In the NCLT, there's a 30% vacancy in judges. Why can't they appoint judges? The justice system doesn't work. Now, unemployment. Yes, we have got employment. I disagree with him, but 80% of job pays less than 20,000 rupees. Where are the high-quality jobs? High-quality jobs are not being created because of misguided policies. We have to set right the policies. The 4 labor laws, which are 4 labor codes, still not been implemented after Parliament has passed. What is happening in this country? Laws passed by Parliament are not implemented. Why are you not raising this in Parliament and making sure that we get it? And now this 35% GST is crazy. It's crazy. They're driving away all kind of business. They're not allowing India's manufacturing to grow because they want to levy heavy tax. Can you believe it? A refrigerator is a luxury good. Are they out of their mind? Everybody wants a refrigerator. Luxury good. I mean, a Maruti car is a luxury good. They put a small cess even for a small car. Every Indian wants to own a car. 28% duty for the two-wheeler. Now, these are major issues for the middle class, because unless the middle class grows and pays more tax and invests, we are not going to have money for the poorer people to go. We are spending 8 lakh crore as subsidies for the poor. And we have to create jobs, jobs and jobs. In my state of Karnataka, Barkha, with the richest state in India, $5,000 per capita income this year, 4,25,000 per capita income. Our Chief Minister thinks the biggest issue is giving 5 kg rice to 80% of people per month. We want jobs in the state. Jobs, jobs and jobs, like Tehseen says, is important for us and for the middle class and for all people in this country.
But who is talking about jobs? Nobody in Parliament is. Nobody in
Tehseen is
Parliament.
right. But Barkha, Tehseen is right. Congress is misguided. They must raise the issue and put the government on the mat. That's their job, because these are issues where people will support them. They're losing support because they're going after an imaginary Soros or Adani and all that. It doesn't resonate with the people. We want the opposition to put the issue which concern us before Parliament so that we get solutions. They must put the government on the...
Instead, here is what happened in Parliament today. Rahul Gandhi donned the role of a reporter. Take a look at what happened on Gautam Adani.
आजकल क्या हो रहा है भाई?
आजकल मैं जो भी बोलता हूँ ये करता है।
अच्छा,
मेरे लिए करता है।
आप क्या क्या बोल रहे हो?
मैं कुछ भी चाहता हूँ।
क्या चाहते हो आप?
कुछ भी पोर्ट चाहिए, एयरपोर्ट चाहिए, कुछ भी।
अगला आप क्या लेने की कोशिश कर रहे हो?
वो उसके लिए अभी हमारा मीटिंग अभी शाम को है, करके आज डिसाइड कर देंगे कि मीन्स हमारे लिए मैं जो भी करता हूँ ये बाई होने तक मेरे लिए कोई तकलीफ नहीं है।
पार्लियामेंट छोड़ देने भैया,
वो देखते हैं।
आपके रिश्ते के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए भाई।
हम दोनों का एक ही है। मैं जो भी बोलता हूँ
हम दोनों मिलकर सब करेंगे।
अच्छा, और कब से आपकी पार्टनरशिप चल रही है?
ये हमारा सालों साल
से। और फ्यूचर आपका कैसा है?
20 साल का है हमारा। पूरा इस देश का ये इंडिया मैं हूँ।
अच्छा, ये आपके कारण पार्लियामेंट क्यों नहीं चलने दे रहे हैं?
ये
हम सारे ऑपोजिशन को, मतलब
वो आदमी गायब है। अमित भाई आए नहीं थे आज हाउस में। आज अमित भाई से पूछना पड़ेगा। मैं जो भी बोलता हूँ ये करता है।
ये बड़े सीरियस लग रहे हैं।
ये
कम बोलते हैं आजकल।
ये थोड़ा टेंशन में है।
Do you think they're seen as a supporter of the Gandhis and of the Congress party that this was smart politics? And I ask you for two reasons. One, in of itself, is it smart politics? Two, let me show you a visual from the Telangana assembly today, where the shoe is completely on the other foot, if we can play those pictures. And KTR is targeting Revant Reddy for his closeness to Gautam Adani, and he's arrested. Outside the assembly, he's arrested at the door of the Telangana assembly because, of course, Revant Reddy has welcomed Gautam Adani into his state with open arms. KTR, who's the opposition, is targeting him and he gets arrested. I mean, detained, obviously. He's not going to go to jail. But the point is, KTR was not allowed to target Revant Reddy for his closeness to Adani. But Rahul Gandhi in Delhi is making this a kind of national issue. I want you to respond, Tehseen Poonawalla.
So may I just address the Telangana issue at first? KTR was helping the BJP out here completely.
Why? Why?
KTR and KTR. I'll explain. Today was the inauguration of the Telangana Mata statue. So they wanted to divert attention. This statue had to come up about 10 years ago in the assembly because KCR sir had failed to do so. And they'd done the same drama during the Telangana state song. So this was to divert attention. And the t-shirt that he's wearing underneath his shirt, if you see he's looking slightly puffy, he's a fit guy. The puffiness is not because he's put on weight. It's because he's wearing a t-shirt underneath, which is the rules of the Telangana Assembly, which don't allow such t-shirts. And it's not the current government's rule. It's since KCR, his father was the chief minister, those rules.
But however, I mean, Rahul Gandhi has led protests in parliament wearing those Adani Modi t-shirts. If in fact we have those shots, we can cut to them.
Yes. And I thought the same thing. Except the parliament is sovereign.
No, this is the other t-shirt, guys. This is the other t-shirt. This is the t-shirt released by BJP. We need the t-shirt which has Adani. There it is. They're very confusing. Both t-shirts are similar. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So now we supporters also have to wear t-shirts. Jokes apart.
I mean, this is just infantile.
But jokes apart. See, I mean, I can give a technical answer that both houses are sovereign and have their own rules. But beyond that, the fact is that this was sort of to disrupt. But I do get the larger point you're saying, and I want to address what Mohan Bhai is saying slightly further. I think to a point, raising issues with the said industrialists in Delhi, raising those issues and asking for institutional clarity and no monopoly is a good thing to do to an extent. But in my personal opinion, as a voter, as a supporter, just disrupting the entire house over one issue may not just make sense to run the house, but also politically it may not reap the same benefits because the common man seeks more than a port going to a particular industrial. So I think you must have a nuanced discussion and tie the government down on how SEBI can be improved, for example, or other such institutions.
But
But
isn't
don't
there
just
political
make a house.
hypocrisy? Even if you say KTR was helping BJP, but
Yes.
briefly, because I want Mohan to come in on Rahul Gandhi's
Mm.
reporter avatar, and you haven't responded to that. The
Yes.
fact is, Revant Reddy, Ashok Gehlot, they have welcomed Adani with open arms. Sharad
Sure.
Pawar, is known for his closeness to Gautam Adani.
Correct.
Mamta Banerjee does business with Gautam Adani. I'm talking
Correct.
about opposition leaders.
But
What is Rahul Gandhi gaining with this clip where he's turning reporter? Like, okay, a
but
few laughs. Okay, it'll do well on social media. What does it actually translate into?
So I'm not comfortable, and I'm very old fashioned. I'm not comfortable with individuals being targeted, right? So I don't like both the industrials being targeted. But the problem with our country's politics has become, I'm sorry, not a country, our country's politics has become, even the prime minister did that on the two industrialists during the election campaign when the prime minister felt he was desperate and was not getting the numbers. The prime minister did that. He said, look, this particular industrialist who Mr. Gandhi is targeting now sent truckloads of money to Mr. Gandhi. And as prime minister, the question is, why didn't he send a ED then? So, unfortunately, the larger thing is industrialists and wealth creators in our country for all political parties have become easy targets.
But let me read out a question. Let me read out a question from one of our audience members. No, it's relevant to what you're saying.
I want to just 10 seconds. Industrialists are being extorted. I'm saying this by all political parties, and taxes have become extortion taxes, and industrialists are being painted bad. So there's my industrialist and there's your industrialist. Your industrialist is a bad man. My industrialist is a good man, and that has to change.
And I agree. But Saurabh Vishesh says this isn't journalism by Rahul Gandhi. This is pure stand-up comedy. Is this the standard of Indian MPs? But Mohandas Pai, Tehseen Poonawalla reminds us that during 2024, when the Prime Minister wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be, even he resorted in an unusual reference to attacking both Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani and made insinuations about, the Congress receiving money from them. So, I mean, we have made business. Okay, look, there are two separate conversations here. If Gautam Adani has violated SEBI, if Gautam Adani is guilty of bribery allegations as alleged by US prosecutors, please let the law take its own course. Please let there be robust journalism on it. But politically, is it making sense for the opposition to make him the single point agenda? And politically, Mohan, does it make sense for the BJP to be associated so closely with him? Both questions are valid. Mohandas Pai.
Look, Barkha, my view is, if you have anything, evidence to say that industry has done wrong, please file a charge sheet and go to court, like they went to the Supreme Court in the case of Adani earlier. The Supreme Court set up an investigation. The investigation proved there's nothing there, and the matter is still going on for SEBI to take some action. Please do that. Anybody breaking the law should be prosecuted under law. There's no point making it a political issue. Now, during the election, anything goes, Barkha. Please understand, elections are all about power. Anything goes. There is no morality. We spoke about it long back. There is no morality in politics, especially during election time. So let's forget what people said during the election campaign. That is over. Today, we want a functioning government. We want a functioning parliament. What Rahul Gandhi did outside parliament today was ridiculous. It's juvenile. I mean, you ask any young person, what does they think about it? They'll say, definitely, it is a comedy show. What is it trying to achieve? See, you must get the voter on your side if you want to come to power. You can't isolate all the voters. You cannot make them feel that you're not competent, that you're raising issues which are not their issues. You raise issues which are important for them, which they're facing. You do all these things because, see, look, George Soros is definitely funding a lot of NGOs in this country. You know the names. It's been in public domain for long. We know what happened to the Jodo, who came and traveled in the Jodo system. We know all that case. It is very evident. He has made public statements. So he has planned to interfere. He's put his money. While Tehseen said 90-year-old man is not the 90-year-old man. It's the money that is putting to effect. That is the big issue. The money, huge amount of money that has been put into effect in all these NGOs. The farmers' agitation is possibly funded by people close to him. Trudeau and the Canadian Sikhs funded the farmer agitation. You just think about it.
But are we not conflating a lot of things? I mean, every farmer on the street is not funded by Trudeau or by Soros. Otherwise, the Prime Minister would not have heard these farmers and taken those farm laws back, right? Every NGO is not funded by some conspiratorial anti-Modi agenda, right? You would grant that, yes.
Barkha, the people who are creating trouble, people are doing advocacy, people are doing politics. You just see who are those people and see who is funding them. You'll find out who is funding them. That's very clear.
Okay.
Second,
Okay.
the farmers' agitation, you just think about it. It must have cost them maybe 2 to 3 crores a day to have 100,000 farmers parked there. Where did the money come from? You got to ask the question.
I think we have a very nuanced question from one of our audience members. Tehseen, I'd like you to take it. Is the Congress in danger of being perceived as going too left? Is the BJP in danger of being seen as defending an industrialist at any cost? Don't these damage both parties? I think this is a fair question.
Yeah, I think on the first, I think the Congress is not perceived. It is too left. I've told you this on your podcast, and you've been kind enough to give me that space. I think the Congress is too left. I think it is so left that a centrist like me sometimes to them appears right. It is so left. And I think they need to cross correct because, like I said, Porsche poverty and Marxism and Maserati Marxism is dead, buried, and is 6 feet down under. And they will never win being left. They have to cater to aspirational India. Is the BJP seen being crony? Yes, it is seen being crony. It is a crony capitalism thrives in India. But there is another thing that I did advise the Congress. Look, the thing about with capitalism at least is, and the late Rakesh Jhunjhunwala ji told me this in Marine Plaza, and I remember he said the markets are like your mother. No matter how smart you are, you cannot outsmart the market. So ultimately, you will fall. You can be the biggest crook in the world. You can con some people sometime. You cannot con all the people. The markets will always. That's just the law of markets. And Mohandas, why you are a businessman, you know that. So ultimately, you will meet your fate. The point is, you must ask questions of institutions. Do not waste Parliament on it. Raise the relevant issues. I think my mom said something important the other day, which stunned me. She said onions are 60, 70 rupees. Now, I'm very privileged, right? For my mom to say this, right? I come from a privileged background. It is hurting her. She said, I was ordering dhania online because my mom's now got this online thing to order. And she's now talking. She's like, itna mehenga ho gaya hai. And if it's hitting my privileged mother, imagine what it's doing. Get that vote. It is sitting there. They are dying to vote for you. Why are you not doing it? My mom doesn't understand Adani issue to the extent it should.
I think that's a great test. Does your mother understand? And Rahul Gandhi, with respect, made this mistake with Rafale in 2019 that I think he's made with Adani in 2024. Again, institutional accountability must be demanded. The opposition has a right to do it, but you cannot spend all your political capital on it. Equally, I want to play out what Kiran Rijiju has said. Is the BJP investing too much political capital in these George Soros conspiracy theories? Take a look.
जॉर्ज सोरोस और उसके जो लिंक्स सामने में जो आए हैं, चाहे राहुल गांधी जी का नाम हो, चाहे सोनिया गांधी जी का नाम हो, हम इसको कांग्रेस पार्टी के रूप से भी नहीं देखते हैं। कोई भी भारतीय अगर विदेशी ताकतों के साथ जो भारत विरोधी है उनसे लिंक होते हैं और भारत का खिलाफ काम करते हैं तो गंभीरता से लेना चाहिए। हम इसको पार्टीबाजी के रूप से नहीं देखते हैं। हम हाउस चलाना चाहते हैं, अच्छी तरह से हाउस चले, हम बिल्स भी पास करेंगे, कई मुद्दे उठाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन कुछ ऐसा मुद्दे आते हैं तो उसको हम लोग सदन में नियम के तहत उठा सकते हैं। हमने कांग्रेस पार्टी को भी कहा है और बाकी जितने पार्टियां हैं सबको भी कहा है कि संविधान पे चर्चा 13-14 को लोकसभा में होगा और 16-17 को संविधान पर चर्चा राज्यसभा में होगा। उसके लिए हम तैयार हैं और कांग्रेस पार्टी और अन्य दल भी तैयार रहे।
Okay, he ends by saying that let there be a debate on constitutionalism, but Mohandas Pai, even the Soros issue, frankly, I mean, the point is this is not what Parliament is for. Parliament is not to release T-shirts, Modi Adani ek hai, Soros Rahul ek hai, whatever. Both sides are now descending to a kind of rhetoric that is good for social media, has zero impact on the ordinary lives of the issues that Indians care about and need to talk about. You know, so what would be your advice to the BJP at this point? Mohan.
Well, my advice will be to the Speaker of the House and the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha to say that send out the people who are stopping Parliament. Don't waste the people's money. People who remain, let's have a debate. Ask the government to have a debate on all these issues and talk about it. And if these people want to be sitting at outside parliament and saying democracy is murder, let it be. Because the people of this country want their issues to be debated, not these issues. Now the Congress is becoming more and more irrelevant in this issue because they're raising issues which are not of relevance to the people. If you find somebody corrupt, ask some of your people go to court and file cases. I'm sure the courts will listen to you as they did in that Adani case for Hindenburg. Do that. That's much better. Try that. Don't shut down Parliament. Parliament is precious. We have elected all
But
these
there,
people to
there the
debate in
allegation
Parliament.
is that there the allegation is that the court was not given full information by the SEBI chairwoman Madhavi Buch. So there are
That's rubbish. Barkha, that is total rubbish. You want to be judge, jury, and prosecutor? Who are you to say you are judge, jury, and you must protect them? You want institutions to be protected. You must respect the institutions. The Supreme Court may be wrong, but it's supreme. It is listening. Let us do that. There's nobody else apart from the Supreme Court. You abuse the Supreme Court, abuse the Chief Election Commissioner, abuse everybody. Who are you?
okay.
You are no credibility in the first place. I think the Congress is not getting more voters and supporters by doing all this. They are becoming objects of ridicule. They are not current to the Indian people. And I fear for the Congress. I want the Congress to be robust. I want them to be a good opposition. They're a big tent. They must represent the people of this country and fight legitimately to come to power. We need our democracy to flourish. They are destroying democracy by saying, oh, we are protecting the constitution. This is not the way. This is not what Indians want. We want good governance. We want government to be on the mat. We want government to be exposed for what they're not doing. If they don't do good work, expose them so there is some change happening and improve the quality of our lives, not this.
Okay. Quickly, Tehseen, and then I want to take final comments after a last clip. Yeah.
Look, I just think that Parliament was perceived as a house to discuss, debate, argue, even attack each other verbally in terms of different points of view. That suits both political parties, the BJP and Congress, that it doesn't run. Now, because the BJP wants to pass through legislation because it has numbers, most of these legislations, a lot of them are ill thought of. The Congress perhaps does not want to debate on this, and both parties don't have great speakers, barring a few that can actually debate. So this has become an easy way out. Once in a while, the Prime Minister comes, he gives a long speech. Once in a while, Rahul G gives a good speech, and that's over. I think that is the essence of democracy that is being lost to our great nation. I think another problem that I face as an Indian, and I support the Congress, is none of the political parties are talking of the next 50 years ahead. I mean, of course, the Prime Minister gives some little bit here and there, Viksit Bharat, etc. There's no specifics. The world is going to change with quantum and AI. It's going to change. And we have zero policy, Barkha. We have zero policy regarding that. We have zero policy regarding tech finance, and they have zero idea of how. And you have no idea how our GDP will collapse and our demographic dividend will become a demographic disaster if we don't adapt to quantum computers and AI. And they have zero, and Parliament is making T-shirts. BJP is releasing videos on Twitter. That is what we've come down to. It is.
I mean, it is all rather infantile. It is all rather infantile.
Hold, and I'm saying this in a metaphorically, hold the Honorable Prime Minister, hold Rahul Ji and say, stop, talk, debate, do it. What is going on? This has to stop now.
So before I take last comments from both of you, Ajit Pawar's performance in Maharashtra, your home state, Tehseen, was dramatic, to say the least.
Congratulations to Nitish. You interviewed him.
To Naresh.
Naresh
Arora. I'm going to play a clip from him. So he was the strategist who's worked with the party you support in the past, Congress. And this time he ran Ajit Pawar's campaign. And I asked him about the Adani issue, and I want both of you to take a look at what he said. And then we will come back for final comments. Take a look.
Congress is not obsessed with Mr. Adani. I know many people in Congress who are not obsessed with that fact. And those people matter.
So Congress is not obsessed with Mr. Adani, Mr. Gandhi is?
I don't know, but Congress, when you say that, means that every person in Congress should be obsessed. Okay. I know many people who matter in Congress and who have either held or are in higher positions that they don't subscribe to the same thought.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, if Mr. Adani or the issues surrounding Mr. Adani were electorally important, they would have given some dividends in at least one election. How many elections have been fought in that name? The people who are obsessing with that, they need to, I would very humbly submit, introspect. Is it paying any dividends?
But the people are Rahul Gandhi and his core team.
I don't know about that.
Sure,
but
of course you know.
I don't.
Of course you
I'm
know.
not part of those conversations.
No, I'm saying, see,
I'm
it's
not part
visible
of,
in public.
but what we can see in public, that there has been no dividends related to that.
So the question from Naresh Arora, who ran Ajit Pawar's campaign, and he's run the campaigns of Congress leaders in the past, did Adani get Congress even one vote? Closing comments now from Tehseen and Mohan. Tehseen, I'll start with you, and then Mohandas Pai. You said, Tehseen, you want to shake Modi and Rahul sometimes and get them to talk. There is an interesting comment from one of our audience members, Prasad, who says Barkha, Adani, and Soros are two sides of the same coin. If the Congress raises Adani, the BJP is trying to counter with Soros to keep that coin up in the air. But this is a poor strategy by Rahul Gandhi, handing the BJP a non-issue.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I also put a comment, metaphorically shake, before we get trolled by both sides. We don't want to be trolled. But jokes apart, I think the BJP is in government, right? So baat nahi hogi unka, they will pass an ordinance, they'll pass the law. You have to come in power. So you have to submit them. Look, I'll just quickly in MMA. I'm not a great boxer, so I want to wrestle and grapple and get a guy to fight on my terms. Don't fight on the BJP's terms. It's suiting the BJP. Parliament's not working, because what the BJP doesn't want to discuss is tax terrorism, lack of future vision, inflation, lack of jobs, quality jobs, whatever. They don't want to. Who should be on the defensive? The government. The BJP, it suits the BJP Parliament not running. Therefore, yes, we are making headlines. I am in opposition. But is those headlines getting us into government? No. The aim is not headlines. The aim is to be in government. Don't forget the aim. The aim must be to be in government.
I think that's accurately said. Politics is about power. Mohandas Pai, last word to you.
I think Congress has lost its way. It is not very sure what the future has to be done. Whatever Congress does is possibly decided by one person. It's one or two advisors whom you know, one in India, one overseas. It's totally misguided. They're raising issues which are not germane to the Indian people. They must represent issues which Indian people suffer. I mean, suffering today, like Tehseen said.
I just want to say the person abroad is not Soros, but Sam. Not yes. Uncle Sam, but Sam Petroda.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think he is initiating Rahul's thinking, putting things into his mind. Like one other person, one of his advisors doing in Delhi. Very, very nice guy, but he's totally, I don't want to make any comment about him, because I think he's barking up the wrong tree. Because look, represent the interest of the people of this country. We appointed you to go vote. Put the Congress on the mat. There is unhappiness in this country about many issues. The poor are unhappy about prices. The poor are unhappy about not getting better wages. The middle class is unhappy about high taxes. The middle class is unhappy about high interest rates. I just saw that a new governor has been appointed for the Reserve Bank, Barkha, and I think somebody is paying the price. And then we are sick and tired of people getting arrested. We're sick and tired of all these guys talking about religion and other issues. Please talk about issues which make our lives better. And if you represent us, I'm sure people will respond and vote for you next time. The key question to ask for any opposition is, the issues they're raising, will they get the people's support? Are they representing people? Will they expand their support and come to power the next time? Otherwise, they'll never come to power. There will be some object of, object of humor or object of, ridicule in parliament. That's not what a political party is. Congress has to grow up, not be juvenile like they're doing right now and doing all this T-shirt business. It looks silly, right? It looks silly in the topmost institute in the country. You're wearing these T-shirts like 18-year-olds in school, colleges, fighting those battles.
I think Tehseen wants to say something to you. Tehseen, quickly. Tehseen?
No, I just want to quickly say that the new Reserve Bank chairperson, he's not even with respect to him. I have a lot to say about this IAS officer, and I think Reserve Banks should be run by people who understand business, not by babus. I'm saying this with a lot of respect for babus, who understand how dynamic and tough.
Let's actually just share. Let me just share screen. If we can just share screen on the announcement of the new RBI governor, please, so we can have our audience can have some sense of what we're talking about. If the producers at the back end can do this quickly, yeah, go ahead. Let me, in the meantime, just read out that Sanjay Malhotra has been appointed as the new RBI governor, and he will take charge from Wednesday for 3 years. He's a 1990 batch IAS officer from the Rajasthan cadre. Right.
I'm very uncomfortable with IAS, IPS officers becoming Reserve Bank governors, etc. Not with I have anything against them. They're brilliant people who pass very tough exams, but their thinking is very one-dimensional. Business today is so fluid, so global, in the word of George Soros, without borders. In this particular case, actually, that you need very dynamic people who understand that interest rates have to be cut for business to grow and people to invest. You have to encourage investment. You cannot be saying long-term capital gains, short-term capital gains, uske upar tax, uske upar cess, uske upar tax. You need new dynamic policies in a changing world, in a crypto world, in an AI world, in a quantum world. And these babus are living in the 90s, unfortunately. I'm saying, I hope I'm proved wrong. I'm saying this, I hope I'm proved wrong.
Barkha,
Mohan?
we need people like Tehseen to be in government, because Tehseen is a young man who is raising the issues important for the largest segment of a population, the youth of this country, who are between the age of 20 to 50, and who are possibly about 75 crore voters. For them, a quality of life, development, jobs, good, and everything else is important. We need people like Tehseen in government to raise this issue.
But even you made the comment, Mohan, even you made the comment that someone has had to pay the price in this choice of new RBI governor, right? Obviously, you believe that Shaktikanta Das has had to pay a price.
Because this
explain that.
He did a great job, but in the last 1 year, his obstinacy in holding interest rates despite economy coming down and controlling the banks more and more. I'm hearing the RBI officials are calling a bank and whispering, don't do that, don't do this. They're not allowing the law to be implemented. They are interfering in too much. And they're passing judgment that, you're lending too much, don't lend this, bring this number down, 70%, 75%. They should let the banks do and just say, this is the capital required. You want to do this, put more capital. Let them run the banks. The RBI cannot run the banks because they're accountable. Remember, it's the same RBI which allowed the NPS to go to 15 lakh crores despite having some members on the board. You allowed them to happen until, this Raghuram Rajan has this annual asset review or whatever it is, where they discovered that, right? So they got mud on their face earlier. And now this, Shaktikanta did a good job, very good job. But last 1 year, control everything, run it as you want. I mean, you got to have a free economy. You got to look at the larger aspect. And today, let me tell you, Barkha, you write a letter to RBI, they don't reply. They become a law into themselves. We need an appellate authority against arbitrary decisions taken by RBI. RBI is the creature of parliament, not a constitutional authority. They have autonomy.
So you're not happy. You're not happy with this decision that has just been announced moments ago. That
I'm very happy because look. I know Sanjay Malhotra well. Sanjay has been a great guy in the ministry. He's been a great guy. I have a high growth in him. I hope he liberalizes. I hope he does things much better. I respect Shaktikanta Das. He's done a great job because during COVID, he was a great leader. He stood up. He saved this country by good policies. But in the last 1 year, the controls that he's brought in, trying to do micromanagement, has hurt the economy. Obstinacy on the interest rate. J.R. Verma, one member of the MPC said long time, real interest rates are high. You must bring it down for growth. Growth is going to get impaired. You're not going to have investment coming in. That's exactly what you're seeing today. And who is suffering? We are suffering. Job, we want more investment. We want jobs.
Well, I hope people talk about this. Sure.
And they try and control interest rate, thinking they'll bring inflation down. Inflation, again, you cannot control it. How can you control the flow of water? You can't. Inflation is like water, it will find its way. So you can't do it. You're destroying the country. We are going back on the hard form reforms of 1991. We're going back, we're sliding back. And somebody needs to stand up and say, stop this going on.
Well, the point is that this is the discussion that we should be having, instead of the discussions we are having in and around Parliament. Interest rates, inflation, autonomy of banks, autonomy of the RBI. That is what we should be talking about, right?
Yes.
We leave it there. We have a new RBI governor. That announcement has just come, even as we were debating Soros and Adani and the two parties handling it. And the consensus and the bottom line on this program is that this is a waste of taxpayers' time, and this is not what the voter cares about. Mohandas, Tehseen, Poonawalla, thank you for joining us. See you both soon.
See you, sir.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.